Hey everyone, welcome back and welcome to another reading Taurus. This will be your reading for October for wherever you have Taurus in your chart, Vedic or tropical. If you don't have strong Taurus, that's okay too. It's really all about the message, and we all have every sign somewhere in our chart. And just because you aren't a Taurus, that doesn't necessarily mean that the truth doesn't apply. So that being said, let's take a look at what's going on for you right now, and then we'll talk about what's to come for the rest of October. This is a general monthly read. So if love comes through for you and that's what's showing up, then that's what we'll talk about. If it's career, if it's money, then that's what we'll talk about. But let's see. Speaking of the truth and about it still applying, about it still being relevant, it's never too late to express it. And you may be feeling like maybe it is, or maybe you may be feeling like you've missed your shot, you've missed your chance to say your piece, to tell your side of the story. And I think that that's a frame of mind. The truth has a way of being timeless, and it never loses its potency, it never loses its impact, it never loses its effect, no matter what time it is that it comes out. Now, does that mean that there are some things that can't be undone? Absolutely, because just with the passage of time and choices are made on an hourly, daily basis, you can't take back what has been said. You can't relive something. But you do have a lot of control over what happens in the present, and you have a lot of control over what happens next. I feel the need to tell you guys to call it out. To call it out. You're not really helping anyone by holding back. You're not helping anyone by hiding the way that you feel. And I think that you should be proud of the fact that you see things and you notice things and you're willing to speak up and be honest and open about them. And is sad the right word? The trick, or the vulnerability in that particular approach that a lot of people like to exploit, is that they will try to make it seem like you're the only one that feels that way, or that you're crazy for speaking up about it, or that you're crazy for bringing attention to it. But you're not. You're not. I feel like you have a lot of respect for the truth, Taurus. I think that it's a part of the way that you live your life. And I think that if it's not right, then it's not right. And I think that you're just not going to condone certain behavior. You're not going to You're not going to let them get away with it. But you're solid. That's the thing about showing up this way, even though it's painful going through the process, even though you sort of make yourself a target for the people who are scared of this energy, for the people who are threatened by this energy, it does great things for your reputation, and it says a lot about who you are as a person and about what your ambitions are, what your principles are. Now, you may or may not place a lot of value on what other people think of you. I think that you place some value on it, but regardless of whether or not you place value on it, I think that it's something that you do need, especially when you're trying to make your case, especially when you are it makes you more credible. Some of you guys may be planning some kind of celebration as well, some kind of get together, and maybe there's something that you're realizing about this pursuit. Maybe there's something that you're realizing about these plans. I wonder what that is. Knight of Swords. Just making sure we're still in focus. I think that you're very excited. Which there's nothing wrong with that. I think that you're very enthusiastic. I think that you want it to go well. I think that you want your plans to be successful, and I mean, so far it looks good. Take your time. I think you have time. I think you have that. Is that what this is about? You might feel like there isn't any. You might be changing your mind. But I don't think that you said anything about it yet. I do think that you guys are having second thoughts about something. King of Pentacles, Page of Swords. But it's like you're already, those funds are vested. Eight of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the Nine of Pentacles. You're dealing with a very hardworking fire sign that is very capable, is very opinionated. This person has a lot of love for you, or you have a lot of love for this person. All right, so here is October. Let's talk about what's here. So the Ace of Swords and the Hierophant are about your need to speak no evil this month, to always speak the truth in all of your dealings. I think that if you're consistent about the ideas that you want to convey, if you're consistent about your perspective, whether or not you realize it, even though it makes you more vulnerable in some ways, because you're not leaving much to the imagination. You are willing to express how you feel, willing to express where you're coming from. I do think that it makes you pretty resistant to any kind of misunderstanding or misinterpretation of who you are, what you're representing, and I would argue that it makes you in some ways immune to gossip. And for a moment there, right after I said it, I felt like, is anyone really immune to it? Because yes, you may be immune to it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the effects that it has or can have on your life, can have on your money, can have on your feelings, can feel very real. Even though you're resisting and even though you're putting up a good fight. But I feel that the good outweighs the bad. Like I said, I think that you're solid. You're solid. And because you're consistent, I think that even though the situations, the landscapes that you find yourselves in may be changing, you may be in some uncharted territory, you're okay because who you are never changes. And in this case, I think that that's a good thing, because you are surrounded by a lot of aggressive energy. Look at that horse, like he's looking off, side, he's looking to the left, looking to the right. So I feel like you're having to, maybe you feel like there are a lot of eyes on you, or maybe you feel watched, or like you're being scrutinized. And some of you are. And I think that some of you are doing this as well to other people. And I think that you're very vocal about it. Why I think that may be is because I think that the way your energy is set up, it's like you want to put in the effort, you want something to be successful, you want to invest in something real so badly. And I think that it irritates you when people don't rise to the occasion, when people don't match that energy. Some of you could be dealing with some people that are lazy or lackadaisical, or they just act like they don't have a care in the world. And I think that it's getting to the point where you're getting fed up either with the whole situation, maybe even to the point that you don't want to be a part of it anymore. Like I said, you may be having second thoughts. This kind of echoes that Aries reading that I did. So if you're dealing with an Aries, you may want to check that one out. If you're wondering whether or not to communicate this to an Aries, they're pretty done around this time too. Or it's like the energy is transitioning with them. So like they're in a state of change. And I say that to say that it's okay for you to be in that state as well. I do think that there's something that you may be changing your mind about. But like I said, you haven't expressed this yet. Maybe it's because you're waiting for more information. Maybe it's because you don't want to waste what you've already invested. And it's just like, okay, well, you've already put, this much work into it. You might as well just see it through, even though you don't really know how things are going to pan out, even though you're running low on faith that it will be successful. There could be a fire sign in your life as well who in October is fairly successful, and I think that their success confuses you. Or maybe you don't know where they get the energy from. You don't know where they get the strength from. You don't know how this person does it. For some of you, it could be a boss. It could be someone that we're talking about in Aries, so yeah. But this could be someone who you report to. It could be someone that you work with, maybe even someone that you idolize, someone that you depend on. But they are very hardworking. And I think that you are maybe feeding on that energy of wherever or whatever you set your mind to, whatever you choose, whatever you decide to do. I think that you're embracing optimism in October, and I think that that is good for you. I think that if you're planning to betray someone, the cards want you to think again. I know how that sounds. You may not necessarily have any nefarious intent. It's difficult. I can't know that, right? And I'm calling it a betrayal, but this could just be how this person perceives it, right? It's all about perception. So it's like some action, some step, some plan that you had. It's like in changing your mind about it, or in like the fact that you feel differently about it now. You might be scared, or you might be feeling like you don't have the opportunity or chance to feel differently about stepping into this position, or about taking this position, or making this choice, because you feel like you'll be betraying someone that you care about, that you will ruin. A relationship that looks like it's pretty important to you. And the advice I have here, I spoke on it a couple times, and I think that it remains true. I think that honesty is almost always, well, I believe always, the best policy. It keeps your conscience clear, and you stand a better chance of getting what you want, or of being happy with the outcome, if you're happy about what you actually want, or if you're clear about what you actually want. I think that you're dealing with people who are not indecisive. You're dealing with people who are direct. You're dealing with people who they don't mince words, and they don't like wasting their time. And I think that you don't like to waste your time either. So I think that it would be silly to pretend like everything's okay when you know that something could be better, or you know that there is a different outcome that you want, but you're unwilling to express that. You're unwilling to convey that this month because you don't want to disturb the peace. False positivity is a very dangerous thing, and it's interesting. I did a reading for Taurus called False Positivity, I think maybe 6-7 months ago. And I'm seeing it here once again. You will only hurt yourself by pretending like everything is okay. And yeah, second thoughts could be rooted in fear, and they could be the result of you jumping to conclusions or expecting the worst, but also sometimes they're rooted in something real. Sometimes they're a symptom of you being more honest with yourself, you accepting who you are in the present, you being okay with the fact that you feel different and that you want different. It is up to you about whether or not you listen to those thoughts, of whether or not you pay any attention to them. Only you can decide which thoughts have value, which thoughts you want to focus on, as those are what will determine your circumstances. And regardless of what you choose in October, regardless of what path you go down, it's essential that you lift up your thoughts and that you do think more. Realize just how much power and control you actually do have over what happens to you. There are no extended readings for October. This was your reading. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I love you. I love you. I love you. Do what you feel and do what you know is right this month. And always speak the truth. And you'll be okay. I'll see you next time. Oh, don't forget to subscribe.